Welcome back, amazing, intelligent, and dedicated student to How to Learn Hebrew the Easy Way. You are on the fast track lesson number 2 with award-winning art right on the screen. I hope that you had the opportunity to review your letters that we learned last time because we're going to review them right this moment. Let's get to it. Here's the first letter. What letter is this? That is the Gimel with a G sound, like a G sound. Gimel. And what letter is that? That is the Hey, like a H, like an H sound. Be careful. What letter is that? Bet. B sound. Okay, so it's just G sound, an H sound, a B sound, a B sound. And what letter is this? That is the Dalid. It's got a D sound. And this one, that is the Aleph. And we say that it has an A sound, but you'll know later on that it really does not. Okay? I'm not even going to write the A there. It's a kind of a placeholder. And the last one, this is the Vet. Vet. Okay? V sound. Okay, good review. Let us begin with our next letter. Now, the next letter is called Vav. And right off the top, when we say Vav, it is going to have a V sound. And I'm going to write the shape of the letter first so you can see it. So it's got a very short head. It's rounded, and then it goes down. Okay, and if you're writing it in between two lines, then it's going to be in between the lines. Yeah? Does not extend further than the bottom or obviously any further than the top. So it's in between those two lines. So the question is, why do we have a letter, or why do we have two letters that have the same sound, right? We have the vet and we also have the vav, okay? I mean, there could be several reasons, but the absolute reason, like why we have to have these two letters, my answer always is you need to ask the creators of the language because I have no idea. Sorry, I don't have an answer for you, but I mean, there's one reason that I'm going to come up with that I'll tell you later on if I remember. Okay, but let's draw some vavs. Okay, get your pencil and paper out, or pen and paper, your writing instrument, and let's write some vavs. And for classification purposes, vav, vav. It's supposed to be rounded. Vav, and we're going in between the two lines. Yeah, between the two lines. You continue writing as I do my stuff over here. Vav. Vav. It kind of looks like a little cane, right? Vav. Write a few more. Vav. And Vav. Okay. All right. So that's our Vav. Okay. We are going to learn our first vowel. Okay. And this is why review is so important, especially these coming weeks. Review is going to be very important because the Vav is going to branch out into another two letters. Okay. Oh, no, not that again. The maximum amount of letters that we have from one letter is 4 in the Hebrew language. So the Vav is going to branch out into what we just did. Vav has a V sound, a V sound. And now we're going to do a Vav that's a little bit different. And that Vav is called the holem. Oopsie. Holem. Holem. It doesn't have an H sound because that's what's been typical for us, right? We've looked at each letter, and the first letter of the name of it is typically the sound of it. But in this case, the holem has an O sound, an O sound. So it's a vav with a dot on the top. Okay, that is a holem. It's a vav with a dot on the top. Okay, we're going to practice that. And again, this is where saying the name is important, because since this is going to vary, since your vav is going to vary into 3 different variations, then it's important to know which one is which, because then you'll be able to determine the sound, obviously. Okay. Okay. So let's do the holem. Holem. Make sure you write it down. And here is the holem. And this is the same as before. In between the 2 lines, the dot is going to extend above. Okay. Too many dots there, right? Holem. Remember to say it. Holem. Let me go outside the lines. Holem. 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 Okay. Take another few seconds. And there's your holem. Okay, let's do something fun. Let's do something fun. Now that you know the holem and that it has an O sound, O, holem has an O sound. Holem has an O sound. Okay, then what word is this? If you read bo, correct. Okay, nice. And what word is this? Now, this is not a real word. We're just putting letters together and forming some sounds as if they're words. Ho. Okay. The previous one was a word. Bo was a word. And if I take this away and I do this extends a little bit. Do. Do. Correct. Okay, very good. Okay, so we have so far, and I'm going slow because again it's a little bit on the tricky side. We have the vav, which is like this. We have the holem, which is like this. And now we're going to add one more element, and that element is the shuruk. Shuruk. And it has an U sound. U. Right? So vav has V, holem has O, and shuruk has the U. Shuruk. Shuruk is written like this. Same body of the vav, but the dot is going to fall into the center. Okay? Shuruk. It's going to fall into the center. Holem is on the top. Shuruk is in the middle, or the center of the letter. Okay? All right, let's practice a few shuruks. You can go ahead and begin writing. For classification, shuruk. And the shuruk is like this. Sound it out. Shuruk. In between two lines. Here's your shuruk. Here's your shuruk. Here's your shuruk. It's not difficult. It's just a matter of review and repetition. Remember what we talked about earlier? Just repeating it. It's going to burn it into the brain. Put that information in the brain. Take another few seconds. Shuruk. Shuruk. Okay? Shuruk. That's it. That's it with the Vav. Okay? To review, really quickly. Vav. The cane. Holem. The O. And then the shuruk in the middle. Okay? Want to take a second and write that down? Maybe pause the video and write it down if you don't have it written down correctly, so that you can review it throughout the week or throughout the next few days. Okay, we're not done yet. Don't go anywhere. We're not done yet. We are going on to the next letter. The next letter is the Zayin. Zayin. There go the sirens in the background. Zayin, okay? Zayin has a Z sound, a Z sound. And this is the way that you make the Zayin. It's a little bit like the Vav, a little bit, but it kind of has a crooked head or a diagonal head. And then in the center, you're going to bring down the rest of the body of the Zayin. That's the Zayin. And if you're writing in between two lines, it fits in between both lines. Okay? In between two lines, it fits in between both lines. Sorry, this should be there. Okay. All right, so it goes in between. All right, Zayin. There's a Zayin again, just watching. Zayin. This looks a little bit like a T, but with a tilted head. T tilted. Huh, that's a way to remember it. Hey, check it out. That's a T with a tilted head, but then how do we associate the Z sound? That's the Zayin. I don't know. I thought I had something there. All right, let's practice. Zayin. Write the name down. Zayin. Okay. T tilted head. Zayin. Zayin. It kind of looks like a nail, right? Doesn't it look like a nail? Oh, I'm doing what I said we shouldn't do. My brain is going to what I already know. I'm associating. Zayin. Hope you're writing. Zayin. Zayin. And you're saying it out loud. Zayin. Zayin. It's all going to come together later on. We're just learning symbols and names. That's it. That's all we're doing right now. Symbols and names. That's what we're learning. Zayin. But you're going to be reading Hebrew like a pro. I'm going to teach you some rules that people typically don't teach. Grammatical rules. We got to learn all the good stuff. Okay, let's eliminate that. We're going to move on to the next letter. Now, the next letter is a little bit challenging for some people to say. This letter is not found, or the sound, better said, is not found in the English language, nor any of the Romantic languages, Spanish or Italian or French. Portuguese, none of those languages have this particular sound. And there's a couple of those sounds in our language, in the Hebrew language, and three in particular. And this one is the first one we're going to learn, is called the het. Het. Now it kind of sounds like, if I was going to write it, I do something like this, het, with a little dot in the middle, or in the bottom rather, writing it in the English, because it's not really an H sound, and it's not, because it's not as soft as the H, but it's used or produced in the back of the throat. It's difficult to describe it. You just have to hear it, and it's the het, 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 het. Okay, now if you can't make the sound, it's okay, but as close to it as possible, try to imitate. Many times in English, if you see like transliterated works, they're going to write it like this. But the unfortunate thing is people mispronounce it and they end up saying chet, and it's not chet, it's het. So that's why the better way of writing it, at least in English, is to write it with an H and the dot on the bottom. Okay, so here's the het. It's kind of like a hey, okay, and then it's closed on the top. That's the het. Het. Kind of like a hey, but it's closed on the top. Het. Het. That's the het. Let me do one more for you. Okay? That's the het. Okay. Let's practice. Let's practica. Let's do the het. You can write it like this if you want, or if you don't want to write the dot, that's okay. Het. And it does go in between the two lines. Let's make this a different color, yeah? So here are two lines if you have lined paper, and the het is going to go in between there. Het. Say it out loud. Het. Het. And outside the lines, het. The size is important, as we mentioned before, because there are longer letters that extend beyond your bottom line, and there is a letter that extends above the top line. We're going to get to that. Het. Take a few more moments to say the het, and to write the het, not just say it. Association, because we want the brain to associate what we see, what we hear, and what we are writing. It's 4 fingers. Okay. The more senses you add, the better it is for the brain. Okay. The easier it records it in your mind. Okay. That's your het. Let's do a little review. Okay. What letter is this that we learned today? That is the vav. Vav. And what letter is this one over here, which we just learned now? It's the het. I'm trying to mix it up, obviously. And if we take the vav, and if we put a dot on the top, you can look at your notes, by the way. You don't have to, if you don't know it, you don't have to guess. You can look at your notes. It's called the holem, and it has an O sound. And if we have the vav with the dot in the middle, that is called the shuruk. Shuruk, and it has an U sound. So we have V, O, U, and then we have over here the het. Okay? Quick review. We have 2 more letters to do. Okay, now we're going to go to the next letter, which is the tet. 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 It has a T sound, like a T. Tet. And this is the way that you write the tet. This one's a little bit tricky, so follow along with me. You ready? If we have the box, I'm going to refer back to the box. If we have the box, we started with at the beginning, you're going to begin somewhere around the middle of the box. Let's say around the middle. Okay, you're going to go up and around and come back down again. And then you're going to go across to the left, make a 90-degree turn upward, and your line, the line that you're going to make, is going to be parallel with this. Okay? That's the tit. It's a little bit tricky. Let's do it again. Start in the middle somewhere. You go around. You drag across to the left. You go up, and then you make a little head on there. Okay, that's the tit. All right? Let's practice a few of these now. Tit. Let's practice it. Spend some time on this one because, again, it's a little bit tricky. Make a left and go up and go across. That's your tit. It's okay if it's a little bit higher. It's not a big deal. Tit. There's a tit. That's a nice one. It's cool. And you look at this letter and you say, what is that? Right? It doesn't, it's like the other ones were symbols, but this one looks so out of the ordinary from everything we've learned, right? Tit. But I think it's a nice letter. Tit. Spend a few more moments. And then we're going to review. Well, we're going to learn one more letter after this. And it's going to be a really easy letter. There's no such thing as an easy letter. Or a hard letter. Right? Isn't that what we said before? Okay, there's your tit. Spend another few more moments on the tit. There's your tit. Okay? Let's move on to the last letter for today. Now you're on the fast track, so thank you for dedicating the time. Okay, last letter that we're going to learn is called the Yud. Yud. Y-U-D. And it has a Y sound, like a Y. And it's a tiny letter. Okay, so if you have your box, again, it's going to be over here. Just like the Vav starts on the right-hand side, so does the Yud. And it's a little letter. That's it. That's your Yud. That's your Yud. Okay, and if you have, for example, 2 lines, let's write down the name first. Write your Yud. I didn't write it several times, sorry. But we're going to do it now anyway. If you have your lines, the Yud is going to be here. It's a Yud. Now let's make another letter to compare, right? Let's make a Bet and a Yud. So if I made a Bet, and I'm going to make a Yud next to it, here's a comparison. See it? See how small that is? Okay, there's your Yud. Okay, let's do it. Practice. Yud. 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 And when I say easy letter, it's faster to make it, as opposed to the tet, which took longer, because you had, those two, that curve, and then, the 90 degrees going upward and sideways. Sidewards? Is that okay? Okay, so remember we have this bet over here just for comparison, right? Just for size. Okay, tiny letter. Yud. Take a few moments to finish that up, and we're going to do a little review. Okay? Yud. Being consistent. Okay, let's do it. What letter is that? Z. Zayin. Look at your notes if you need to. How about this letter? Het. What about this one? Challenging the memory. Shuruk. And what about this? Interesting letter. Tet. And this one? Vav. And this one? Holem. And our little friend here, let's give him a little more definition. Yud. That's a yud. Okay? So, these are the letters for today. Review them, review them, review them for the next few days. Take 5 to 7 days if needed. If you feel confident and that you know all of these letters, including the cholem and including the shuruk and including the vav, then go ahead and just move on to the next video, right? Video number 3. And I'm going to ask you for a favor to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks so much for being with me. Shalom. Blah, 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 blah. Thanks for being with me today. Shalom.